Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Learn English with Podcasts. I'm Adam.
And I'm Sarah. Thanks so much for being with us today.
So, today we're diving into phrasal verbs with the verb to sit.
Before we start, if English isn't your first language, you can always turn on YouTube subtitles to get a real-time translation while you listen.
Great tip! All right, so sit is everywhere in English, right? People say it all the time. But when you add a preposition, a small word after it, the meaning changes completely.
Completely. So we're covering 8 different phrasal verbs today, all with sit. And honestly, they come up all the time in professional conversations.
Yeah, meetings, emails, presentations, you need to know them. Sarah, I actually have a story about this. A real story.
Oh, I'm listening.
So, about 2 years ago, right? I was working in an open space. You know, one of those modern offices where everyone sits super close together.
Uh-huh. I know the type.
Yeah, and I was in this meeting. We were reviewing the quarterly budget. Very boring, very serious.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on this old office chair, one of those rolling chairs, you know? Anyway, I sat down to take notes, and I'm leaning back to think, and suddenly, the back wheel breaks.
Oh, no.
Completely snaps, and I literally fall flat on my back.
You're kidding.
I'm not. I hit the floor hard. It was loud. Everyone turned around.
So, what happened?
So first, there's like this shocked silence for 2 seconds. And then the CFO, she starts laughing, just laughing. And then the whole team, they can't help it.
The whole open space is losing it?
The entire open space. I mean, everyone couldn't just sit around like nothing happened, right? They had to react.
Right.
People who were just sitting there quietly before, they're now pointing, laughing. The CEO actually comes over to check if I'm okay, and he's smiling too.
That's actually pretty funny.
It was, and here's the thing. I could have just sat back in that moment, pretended nothing happened, tried to laugh it off quietly. But no, I owned it.
You did?
Yeah, I literally said, well, I guess I really fell off that one. And that just made it worse, in a good way.
The laughter continued.
For hours, for the rest of the day, people would walk by my desk and start smiling because they couldn't sit by and ignore the whole thing. It became the story of the day.
That's amazing.
It was. And, back when I was in that office, we had these weekly team meetings. And honestly, half the time, I wanted to just sit out, skip them, you know? But they were mandatory.
Everyone hates mandatory meetings.
Right? But here's the funny part. After I fell, everyone actually paid more attention in those meetings. Like, when I showed up, the energy changed. People would sit up a little straighter.
They were more alert?
Way more alert. It was like, oh, Adam's here. This could get interesting.
That's hilarious.
And then we had this big client presentation coming up. I was invited to sit in on it, even though it wasn't technically my department. The manager wanted me there, for morale, I think.
Or maybe he just liked having you around.
Maybe. But anyway, during that presentation, I'm very careful with my chair. Very careful.
I can imagine.
I'm like holding the desk with one hand the entire time. Everyone notices, and they're all trying not to laugh again.
And that's the whole story?
Well, not exactly. Here's the best part. Weeks later, the company actually held a wellness event, and they asked people to sit for interviews, like testimonials about workplace culture.
Uh-huh.
And I recorded one, and the very first sentence I said, well, at this company, you really take your work seriously, even when you fall flat on your back.
No.
Yes, and that clip, it went viral internally. It ended up in the company newsletter.
That's the best ending.
It was, And the crazy part is, all of this connects back to phrasal verbs. Because to really understand English, especially in a workplace, you need to know these nuances.
Exactly. Sit around, sit back, sit by. They all sound similar, but they mean very different things.
Right. And when you're in a meeting or an email and someone says, "Don't sit back on this decision," you need to know they mean don't be passive. Take action.
Instead of literally moving backward in a chair.
Exactly. That's where so many learners get confused.
Well, that's why we're here, to break it all down.
So, ready to learn these 8 phrasal verbs?
Let's do it. We're going to make this super clear. Each one has a specific meaning, a specific context, and honestly, once you understand the pattern, once you see how the particles work, everything clicks.
It really does. So stick around. We're about to break down sit around, sit back, sit by, sit down, sit up, sit in, sit out, and sit for.
8 verbs, 8 situations, 8 ways to use sit like a native speaker.
Let's go.
All right, so we're going to explain each one carefully. Lots of examples, real-world situations, things you'll actually hear in business meetings, in conversations with colleagues, in presentations.
By the end of this episode, you're going to feel confident using any of these.
And that's the goal. Confidence, real English, not textbook English.
Exactly. So, let's get into it. So, let's start with the first one. To sit around.
This one is pretty common, and honestly, it's usually negative.
Yeah, it means to be idle. To do nothing. To waste time, basically.
When you sit around, you're not being productive. You're just there, waiting, not acting.
Exactly. For example, we can't afford to sit around while the competition moves ahead.
So he's saying, we can't just do nothing. We have to act now.
Right. The market is moving, and if we sit around, we'll lose our advantage.
If you sit around too long before applying for the job, someone else will get it.
Perfect. Same idea. Inaction has consequences.
The particle around is key here. It gives the sense of going in circles, spinning your wheels, no progress.
No momentum. You're physically present, but mentally, you're not doing anything.
Next one, to sit back. This one is interesting because it has 2 meanings. And this one really does show up constantly in professional settings. If a manager says, "I don't want to see this team sitting around," that's a very direct warning. It means, get moving, stop wasting time.
Yes, it can mean to relax, to unwind, to take a break. And it works when you're talking about yourself, too. I've been sitting around waiting for the right moment for too long. That kind of self-awareness, recognizing your own inaction, that's actually the first step to change.
Like, after a long day of work, you sit back in your chair and relax. That's the positive sense.
After the presentation, I just sat back and felt relieved.
He worked hard and now he's taking a moment to breathe.
But sit back also has another meaning. It can mean to be passive, to not get involved.
To not take action when you should.
Right. So don't just sit back. We need your input on this project.
He's saying, don't be passive. We need you to contribute, to engage.
Another example, she couldn't sit back while her colleague took credit for her work.
She had to do something. She couldn't stay silent.
The particle back literally means moving backward or leaning back, but metaphorically it suggests withdrawal, stepping away from the action.
Or physically, actually sitting back in a chair. That visual helps you remember both meanings.
Good point. Next one, to sit by.
And the tone with sit back really matters. The same phrase can mean something very different depending on context. I sat back and enjoyed the show. That's positive, relaxed. But you sat back and let it all fall apart. That's a criticism. That's neglect. This is similar to sit back, but slightly different.
Exactly. The words are identical, but the feeling is completely opposite. One is earned rest. The other is a failure to act. That's what makes English so nuanced and why context matters so much. Yeah, it means to stay still, to do nothing while something happens around you. It's passive observation.
You're present, but you're not intervening.
Exactly. For example, we can't just sit by and watch the deal collapse.
Something bad is happening, and you're not doing anything to stop it.
Right. You see the problem, but you're not acting.
Another example, the manager couldn't sit by while the team was falling apart.
So she took action. She got involved.
The particle by means near, close to. You're right there, but you're not actually participating. You're observing from the sidelines.
You're a spectator, not a player.
Exactly. Next one, to sit down. This is the simplest one. What makes sit by so powerful is the emotional weight behind it. It implies that you could have done something, but you didn't. That's what makes it different from simply watching.
Yes, it literally means to be seated, to take a seat in a chair. Right, it almost carries a moral judgment, like you had the ability to help and you chose not to. That's why sit by often appears in more serious or ethical conversations. It's not a light phrase.
Let's sit down and review the budget together.
You're actually moving from standing to sitting. It's a physical action.
But it also can mean to have a serious conversation.
Oh, yes. We need to sit down and talk about this issue.
It's not just about the chair. It's about creating a moment for discussion.
Like, sit down and let's resolve this.
The particle down is straightforward, from up to down. Vertical movement. You're lowering yourself into a chair.
Simple and clear.
Next one, to sit up. This one is about attention, alertness, or sometimes staying awake. And in business English, you'll sometimes hear a sit down used as a noun, like, I need a sit down with you tomorrow. It means a serious, planned, face-to-face conversation.
When you sit up, you're typically moving from a slouched position to an upright one. Exactly. Can we schedule a sit-down? Sounds professional and respectful. You're not forcing a conversation, you're creating space for one. It's a very useful phrase to have in your vocabulary.
When the CEO entered the room, everyone sat up.
Suddenly, they all became alert, more professional, more present.
Another example, the project manager sat up when he heard about the budget cut.
He was shocked, suddenly paying attention.
The particle up suggests moving to a higher position, literally upright, but also, metaphorically, it means becoming more alert, more engaged.
More awake mentally.
You can also sit up late, meaning you stay awake.
Right. I sat up all night studying for the exam.
That's a different context, but the same particle logic. Up is elevated attention, elevated energy.
Next one. To sit in. This means to attend, to participate in a meeting or event.
There's also the common expression, sit up and take notice. It means to suddenly become aware of something important, like your attention is triggered by a surprise or a shift. When you sit in on something, you're joining temporarily.
Exactly. The new competitor's results made the whole industry sit up and take notice. Something unexpected happened, and everyone's attention shifted. It's a great way to describe a moment that changes things. He was invited to sit in on the client call to understand the process.
He's not a permanent participant, but he's there to observe and learn.
I sat in on 3 meetings last week to get up to speed.
You were present. You were listening. You were part of the moment.
The particle in means entering a space, a conversation, a meeting. You go inside it.
You become part of the group, even if temporarily.
Next one, to sit out. This means to not participate, to skip your turn.
Sit in is also very common in formal or institutional settings. Journalists sometimes sit in on public hearings or court proceedings. And in education, a professor might invite a colleague to sit in on a class to observe the teaching. When you sit out, you're on the sidelines. You're not playing.
It's actually a great learning strategy. When you sit in, you're absorbing, observing, without the pressure of being responsible. You build context, and that context prepares you to contribute fully later. She decided to sit out this round of negotiations.
She's choosing not to be involved. Not this time.
I'm going to sit out the morning meeting. I have a deadline.
You're excusing yourself? You're stepping back?
The particle out means outside, excluded. You're literally out of the action.
Opposite of sit in. Sit in equals join. Sit out equals don't join.
Perfect summary. Last one. To sit for. This one has 2 meanings, and they're quite different.
And something important to note, sitting out isn't always negative. Sometimes it's actually the smart, strategic choice. You're not giving up, you're being deliberate. The first meaning, to sit for an exam, to take a test.
Right. I'm going to sit out this investment round. The conditions aren't right yet. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Knowing when not to act is just as important as knowing when to jump in. She sat for her final exams last week.
You're actually sitting down in a classroom taking a test.
The second meaning is to pose for a photograph or portrait.
Like a photographer says, "Can you sit for me?"
Right. He sat for a professional headshot yesterday.
Both meanings involve sitting in a specific place for a specific purpose.
The particle for gives the sense of purpose, intention. You sit for a reason, for a test, for a photo.
You're sitting down with a goal in mind.
Exactly. All right, so let's recap. 8 phrasal verbs with sit.
And here's a useful distinction. In British English, sitting for an exam is the standard phrase. In American English, you'd say take an exam. But if you're working in an international business context, you'll encounter both.
Sit around, do nothing, waste time.
So, if a British colleague says, "I'm sitting for my language exam next month," don't be confused. They mean they're taking the test. Same idea, just different regional phrasing. Very good to know. Sit back, relax, or be passive.
Sit by, observe without intervening.
Sit down, take a seat, or have a serious conversation.
Sit up, become alert, pay attention.
Sit in, attend a meeting or event.
Sit out, don't participate, skip it.
Sit for, take a test, or pose for a photo.
8 verbs, 8 situations, all built around one simple action, sitting.
And once you understand the particles, up, down, back, in, out, by, around, for, The meanings become much clearer.
You start to see the logic instead of memorizing random phrases.
And that's real learning.
So, next step, go to the article, the full written breakdown. Before we send you off, let's do one quick review together. I'll give you a real-world situation, and you decide which phrasal verb fits best. Ready?
There's a complete guide with examples, explanations, and a quiz to test yourself. Ready? Let's go!
You'll find it in the link below this video in the article description. Situation 1. A team member skips the morning meeting because he has a deadline. He made a deliberate choice. What phrasal verb describes what he did?
And honestly, taking a few minutes to do that quiz, it really cements everything in your memory. He set out. He chose not to participate that time. Strategic, deliberate, not laziness, just priorities.
It does, because reading is one thing, but testing yourself, that's where the real progress happens. Exactly. Situation 2. A manager watches a conflict growing between two colleagues and does absolutely nothing to stop it. What is she doing?
Absolutely. You'll see the verbs in new contexts, and you'll start using them naturally. She's sitting by, she's present, she can see the problem, but she's not stepping in. And as we said, with sit by, there's a moral weight to that, a sense of responsibility left unfulfilled.
That's the goal. Natural English, real confidence. Perfect. Last one. A new hire joins a client call just to listen and understand the process. She's not leading, not speaking, just learning. What is she doing?
Thanks so much for spending these 20 minutes with us. She's sitting in, observing temporarily, building context. That's actually one of the best ways to learn in a new environment. No pressure, just absorption.
We really appreciate it. 3 situations, 3 phrasal verbs. If you answered all 3 correctly, you are already starting to think like a native English speaker. That's real progress. That's the work paying off.
And keep sending us feedback. Tell us which phrasal verbs you struggle with.
Or which ones you use most often.
We're here to help you succeed.
See you very soon.
Bye, everyone.